Time is there. I will give records. Anything up to now, pharmacology issue is there. The questions together, no? The grammatical, you cannot. No? I know the Huh? Karan bone. How can I? The last thing one of the Karan. Study. Take one of the Karan. Huh? You study. So then we will do this anti-infective. Another screen. Screen call done. Off on Karan. Right. Infective drug again. Now, basically, I was thinking none of them will do, but because of today we have kids and just finish it up. And infective drugs. So infections against the infection, what are the infections that we can have? No? What are the infections we can have? What are the infections we can have? Bacterial infection. We can have infection because of the bacteria. Can? Huh? Can or not? So then after that, what are the else? Bacteria, then other thing, but what else can cause? What it can cause? Infection. What else can cause infection? Bacteria. Corona is what? Virus. So then other any infection? Anything can cause infection? But bacteria, virus, huh? Fungus. So antifungal. Anything else? What can cause infection? What else can infect us? Bacteria, virus, and fungus, and then anything else can infect us. Have you heard about toxoplasmosis? What is the toxoplasmosis come from? What is the infection? Yeah, for what is the gross source of infection? Now, cat can cause, and what is cat? From cat, but it spreads inside our body that can cause toxoplasmosis. What else can cause? What else can cause infection? Acanthomovia, keratitis. What is the cause? Acanthomovia, keratitis. What is it? What is acanthomovia? Recently, I contacted people. Acanthomovia is the shape of keratitis that develops. Did you go through acanthomovia? Question can come in exam. Acanthomovia, explain about acanthomovia. No. So it's your duty to study. Once we tell you about acanthomovia, you have to go and study what is acanthomovia, what are the things in acanthomovia, and those things. Yeah, understood. If you don't study, then what will happen? What will happen? Then what will happen? If you ask on the pharmacology, short note on acanthomovia, what you are going to write? Then what happens? You'll get a big what? Alert. What do you get? Big what do you get? Alert. You take that alert and put and make alert paratha. Now I think you know how to make alert paratha. Right? So right now, how many of you now? 6 of you are here. And 2 of them are not doing Thursday classes. What is that? Our MLPT man and this fellow. So they are going to do 4 years program. They are going to finish Sunday first. And then after Thursday, 2 years. That is their plan. So when they enter to the classroom, they say, we cannot come on Thursday. So this time we'll do on Sunday. And next time we'll do a Thursday class. Okay. Somehow you finish your 22 modules. One day when you finish your 22 modules, what will happen? Course will be fixed. Okay. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. You know, what is that? Not a matter of us, no? Right? So that is what is we call as what? That is flexible learning. What learning? Very flexible learning. Right? So then what happens? What I told you guys, now, tomorrow, you can be asked from any angle. You should get ready for that. Understood? Or you can be asked, now they say about contact lens solution. Optically expressed. Optically expressed. Have you seen optically expressed solution? Everybody is written. So, what is optically expressed is compatible for what kind of material? That is that. What is compatible for biopsy solution? What is compatible for aqueous? Which kind of material we have to be more careful on selecting contact lens solution. So those things you have to know. Understood? Then those questions will contact lens solution definitely will come because you are optometry no? About preservatives, problems like aerosols and those problems, those things will come. Right? So now this is now anti-infective drug. We are going to discuss about right, antibacterial drugs, antibiotics that we require, the bacteria that can infect the eyes. We are not focusing on general, we are focusing on what? Eye. No, right? So same thing happen in general also. Antifungal drugs, antiviral drugs, and antiparasitic drugs, right? So this is what we are going to discuss about. Right? And then what happens? So when it comes to antibiotic, if you take about anti means against, biotic means against the life. So antibiotic from the big word antibiotic comes as a so the against the life. Those bacteria, fungus. So Earth's largest animal, other living being is fungus, not us. No, fungus is bigger than Colombo. One fungus is bigger than Colombo, right? So those are big giant animals. Not animals, it's a living being, right? Big giant living beings that exist is fungus, not us. And then there are fungus. Fungus is good or bad? Fungus is good or bad? Huh? Everything there is nothing bad or not good. Fungus, if you don't have fungus, you don't have palm. Bread. You will not be able to make bread without fungus. Right? So there are a lot of things that you need fungus. Now this particular ultraviolet rays is harmful also. Ultraviolet rays is very useful also. Without ultraviolet rays, you will not survive. Understood? So because that there is everything that has positive and negative both sides. So we need antibacterial, we need bacteria, we need virus, we need, we need fungus, and all these things are actually today's technology, we are taking them as a drugs vessels. Now, today we can use corona as a what? That we can put drugs onto that and send it to the place where we want. Today, the corona, right? Corona, COVID-19, virus is used for that. It's very harmless. Even with sabon, it will go, right? So soft, and that can carry your drugs to the relevant place. Understood? If you take about office dose ophthalmicus, just go through the fifth nerve. It doesn't go on the other nerve. On the way, if fifth nerve falls also, it will not cross. So whatever the fifth nerve is there, that will go and damage. So that means you can carry. You can send fifth nerve some messages, fifth nerve some drugs to this virus. Understood? So viruses today, nanotechnology wise, what happens? Viruses and those things are we can take as a drug vessels. We can take, right? So then what happens? Things has been so fast changing, right? So then what happens? Now there are, there is nothing in this earth or in this universe which is not useful or only harmful, and there is nothing that is all that is good. Now, submersing metal is good, also harmful also. The dialanona is good also, harmful also, right? You also good also, harmful also, right? So everybody is that, right? And how much good you are and for what you are good, we have to utilize. Understood? And what is harmful, it should be suppressed. And that is what we are going to learn in antibiotic. And where we have to kill, where we have to suppress, and where it has to be grown. Understood? Understood? Without bacteria, can you have a curd? Cannot have a curd. Actually, if you see curd, it's full of bacteria, you are swallowing bacteria. Right? So without bacteria, can you have vaccinations? No. Without virus, can you have vaccination? No. You are actually injecting bacteria inside your body, virus inside your body, right? So these are all, what we have to say, some of the things that we have to grow, some of the things that you have to suppress, and some of the things you have to kill accordingly. Right? Accordingly. Anything is that. Even relationship, even, business, anything is, there is some part which has to grow, some part you have to stop, and some part you have to not stop, kill. Otherwise, it won't survive. Got it? So you have to select which you have to do what. Anusanona class again, pausam. Anyone? Aragana puluan. Oh, pulang. Data bang kung bahan ini aragana na. Tahu menari, malu, dulu menari. Manggena. Nena manggena. Hari, me agi bahan. Lensometer, Arakan again. By tomorrow we have meeting at Gamba. Then the gain of Malus, Palu, again on the Egan. No, I'm not there on this vehicle. They are, she doesn't want Malu and Palu. Only Lensometer she wants, right? So then what happens? This bacteria, this antimicrobial agents, like bacteria and antibacterial or antiviral or antifungal or anti parasitic drugs, they are made in two ways. One is that you produce from the microorganism organism itself. Right? Organism itself you are produced from. Right? And some that you use what? You synthesize from the lab, you produce. Right? You produce. Understood? So there are synthesized products, right? And some of them are from the genuine body that has been, from the microorganism itself, or from the herbs, from some like pupulagi, anything, pigs lagging, some animals lagging, gun, right? And that then you take that and inject. Understood? So other one is what you do, you synthesize inside the lab, you create. So creating inside the lab, and that comes as a vaccination to you, it takes nearly 25, 30 years. Okay. One person's whole life finished. So that person start at the age of 30 to make one vaccination, one vaccine. That takes 30 years, means he becomes 60 years old when his first vaccine goes and injects somebody's body. Right? So the people have sacrificed so much. I know one Nepalese scientist, but he is in UK. He has one, in his name. The lab is there. And what they grow is on the cancer drugs. He has some sort of research going on. And what he says is it takes about 25 to 30 years from here we prove the vaccine and goes, so that first they have to, on a lab, they have to show it kills that bacteria, it kills that virus, it kills that parasites. Understood? So first you have to grow that parasites, right? Grow that bacteria, and then you against that you make a drug, and then it kills and doesn't kill one day, no. It takes time. Then you do a mistake, you get more stronger, this thing, and one day that will finish that cancer. And then once that is proven, and you send that drug to the third world country like Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, UK, in Ethiopia, Somalia, from UK, what happened? Millions of drugs been donated to Sri Lanka government. Sri Lankans are vaccinated first and see whether the bug will die or a cancer will die. And see whether what is the side effect that comes. And 1-2 years, those bugs will see. And after that only, that will go to the second bird. Then it will go to the first bird. Right? So we are just above that, right? Just above that. Some, dangerous animal. Understood? Just above. Then after that only, you are still not, human, appearance having animals. Understand? But appearance having you and chimpanzee, there is a very marginal difference. Okay. Right? Understood? So you go from here to any other country also, you will be treated in the same way, not big different. Asian, South Asian, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka also family film. Or a single one. Understood? That is how it is classified. And Malaysia, these people, Malaysians, they don't want to test from Sri Lankan students. Sri Lanka? No, I don't want to test. This is what response Lilendra and those people got. Understand the reality and control the ego. Understood? Understand the reality and control the ego. What? Control what? Ego. Right? Sometimes my JC is more better treated. If I take JC and myself, if I go, JC will be treated better than myself. That's a real. So where does this antibiotic come from? Right? So antibiotics come from what? Some fungus, no? Right? And then some, sort of plants and some sort of microorganisms itself. From there only we get this, right? Or it has to be synthesized on a lab, right? It has to be synthesized on the lab. Then after that, what happens? If you see this history, right? So who made the antibiotic? Who invented antibiotic? So the Alexander Fleming, he gets the credit of that fungus what was molded in his mold, and from there he created what? Antibiotic, right? So these antibiotics were created, and then what happens now? Now, if you see, these are inventions now. Now in our villages also, what happens when you go into mud, paddy field and sort of thing, between your legs, this thing, it will start to itch. You get all red. What we do, we put kahap on that. That is antibiotic. Understood? So if you have somebody on mouth, and what we do, right? Go out of follow, here follow, you boy, drink, your body, mouth, finished. We have some shoulder, there is some whatever is clear. And those are not documented. That was they are from our ancestors, maybe thousands of years back. But those are not documented. These buggers started documented in 1942. Right? And they claim what? We are the one who made antibiotic. We are the one who made antihistamine. We are the one who made. Understood? But long ago, now myself, if I have had a fever, I had first time English medicine when I was 12 years old. Before that, I never had a English medicine. So my mother and myself, we go Tuesday and Saturday, block one kind of plants, which I saw in on side. And then take a look, try that, and order it. Whenever we have fever, that hints of that, fever hints. Understood? So I know that, but we block only on Tuesday and Saturday. I don't know reason why that is blocking. But I suppose maybe if everybody block every day, to avoid that maybe the culture has been developed. I believe in that, right? But anyway, Tuesday and Saturday, not other days you can block. So if other days block, people believe that it won't work. Right? So before I came here, about 1 year, 1.5, one year before. So I was working with some European people like Canadian fellows and the people to translate them. I think. And some of the Sudhis and Sudhas, they were there to collect information from those villages. If you have wound, what you do, the hospital is not there. If you vomit, what you do. If you have diarrhea, what you do. If you have rashes, what you do. They have medicine. They have their own medicine. And those buggers, they take that plant. They collect that information. And they will do what? They will go and do in the lab, see what is there, how this works. They make medicine taken from us. And then send the medicine to us in 10,000 people. 10,000 people. Not from their book, they have taken from the villages. What they do when you have this problem. They have that information. So, but we are not interested. No, we are not interested. Sometimes our people will not tell us also. When Sundhis are there, they tell, all this cultural thing, this thing, that thing, everything they express. Understood? That is what happens? Inferior mentality, inferior complexity. People. Hina manasikatya. In Singhali, no? Understood? So that he has or not? Hina manasikatya, not? Hina overall, very good thing of it. Why? You go over, ruled by the foreigners. We have little less. We have little less. You guys have too much. Yeah. So that complexity reflects sometimes in a different way in your situation. Yeah, I'm from little outside. I feel that more. Understood? Yeah, I'm not from your circle. Right? I understand very fast because that complexity we don't get in our culture. Understood? That's correct. Inferior complexity. Now, what you have, you are not satisfied with. What you got, you are not satisfied with. What you are finding, whatever that is not there, you are trying to find. Now you have gotten into diploma optometry. And today, if the Alan wants to go and work, he will get at least 50,000 plus salary. With the refraction and those things that he knows. He's not satisfied. Sri Lanka, there are 20% population who earns more than 50,000 salary. As he does little bit more, she will get 100,000 salary also. Within next 3 months of time. That is not. She is searching for my parents. That person is not earning single things. Not having any single skill also. Skill. That is what come from here. Those kind of intelligent comes from there. Inferior complex. But you don't have good. But you have satisfied with that. What you have from there you start something. Now you know refraction, you know this thing. From there you start something. You know what you have, you start. You have 10,000 page, you start from there. Don't look for 10 million. 10 million always distress. Now 10 million, we don't have the problem, right? We don't have problem that problem. Now my testing room AC doesn't work. Problem for me. Huh? Problem is there. I cannot afford, I don't mind that. When I can afford, I will change that. But I will go on that. But I can manage, I will go on that. I will not go beyond that. And what I have, I'm very happy. But I'm standing on, I'm very proud. So that is, now some people, they are more educated than me. No, they're not happy. Not doing what they are now. Just now, little while ago, RDHS people came to see me. We are from 21st, we are trying to train, but EHIs. Now everybody, those MO and those people, my idea is what he was telling. NGO, no? How is this from Understood? So I'm not looking for business on that. What I'm looking from those PSI training, teachers training, what I'm looking at. Huh? So I will be spending only 1 billion rupees. What I have to pay? Everybody I have to pay about 3,000, 3,500 rupees. So we are going to train about 250 PHIs. I have to spend my time also. But I'm looking for those people, we are not getting down the line. And there are no single payers will be made from us. What we are looking for. Like, you people cannot understand because if I come from that culture, and our culture is different. Our people can understand that. Your people cannot understand because you people think we were doing that come from one project. One of your seniors asked me from a Southern fellow. Where is that? I told Southern fellow. Again, Lions company. Building the docks and Colombo. Other than you can come with a This fellow's father also earned from Lions Club. There all those buildings are from Lions. From Lions Club, was money is not come. Understood? Lions Club, we have to give money. Right? So that culture is matter. Right? So that is what is the problem that you guys only self-eating, self is there no problem. If I had Vision Gas income, Ratna Blind School, I could have taken 100%. Even 1 rupees also, I will spend 100% there. At Vision can offer Ratna Blind School, 250 children. The expenses can afford not even their 1 day's income, not even 1 hour's income. Even Well branch alone can maintain Ratna Blind School. Their income is about 20 million plus per month. But that fellow's brain doesn't come. That fellow's brain, what he comes under by how to make a climbing, how to put more trees there, make more money from that. Corporate or corporate. Corporate and corporate is two different. Understand? So hope in future we'll see you guys also in next 5 years of time. You can see now where you guys are standing, what you guys are doing. Nay, not far. Next 5 years, within 5 years, we will be seeing what Samar Singh Petav is doing, what Charumati is doing, what Samadhi is doing, what Dalan is doing. Can see or not? Huh? Can see. Right? So anyway, so basically, this microbial agents that we can divide them according to the chemical structure. There. And then what happens? The way they work, mode of action, right? And then after what happens? They are, kind of whether they are broad spectrum or narrow spectrum, right? Understood, right? And then what happens? They are kind of the mechanism of action, and then actual action that is, created. So basically, what you have to understand is any, microorganisms, they have chemical forms, which is not very important for us, right? But what is important for us is whether it's a broad spectrum antibiotic or it is a narrow spectrum antibiotic. It's a gram positive or a gram negative or a broad spectrum. This is classified into three: gram broad spectrum, gram positive, gram negative. So this what I'm stressing, remember that one. Other thing you can follow, right? So if you find an antibiotic, so first of all you have to have an idea what this is broad spectrum or this is narrow spectrum. Narrow spectrum we divide into gram positive or gram negative, right? Understood? Gram positive or gram negative. Okay. So then basis of now this I have just now while I was you guys are getting late, I was saying mixing kottu roti doing with the other presentation. Now this is my original presentation. That is now what happened? Just little while ago. How many minutes? Few minutes ago I was doing what? This right, nice. To done this. Understood. So today I was not planning for this session also. And then what happens? Now, on the basis of chemical structure, we can divide antibiotic on the basis of origin. From it is synthesized or it is a microbial origin. On the basis of activities, what is the spectrum? Narrow spectrum, broad spectrum. On the basis of mode of action, which it will break the wall, or whether it will change the DNA, RNA, whether it will work on the metabolism system. What? And then what happens? And the basis of action, right? And then basis of effect of their activities, and then what happens? Basis of route of administration, whether that injected, topical, right, local, right? Understood. So that on that base you can divide antibiotics into different part, right? So on the basis of chemical structures, so there are now say you can go for aminoglucosides are there, right? Polysaccharides are there. Then after that what happens? Then you have a quinol is there, right? Then after that what happens? You can go for a cytosine the generation is there. So different right? So chemical structure wise you can divide antibiotic into chemical structure wise, right? And classification action wise, whether it is a bacterial origin, whether it is a fungal origin, whether it is, right? So whether it is a synthesized product, what it is origin. Origin come from what? Origin is coming from fungus. Origin is coming from bacteria. Origin is coming from the synthesis. It's artificially, made one. Or whether it is coming from the plant, whether it is coming from some animal, right? So fish and those things, you can get this antibiotic done, right? So that origin wise, you have to classify. Then after that, what happens? Right? Now, if you take about broad spectrum and narrow spectrum here, broad spectrum antibiotic, very common use is what? These two, chloramphenicol and ciprofloxacin, right? Cephalosporin, right? So chloramphenicol, very common. Now, if you take antibiotic, now if you take about somebody now we use ciprofloxacin more. Those days we used to use chloramphenicol. Now, even my mother, when they used to make this, what do you call? We call what? Eyeliners. What do you call that? We call gazel. You call what? You also play gazel. So gazel, then what happens? We used to use a cup of this thing and make a this what you call the tube, this what you call this from the oil. You put a lamp. Then after that on top you put a iron bar or iron line, and then doom get collected. On that you put a chloramphenicol ointment, and make, then you will use a as island, right? So until grade 8, I used to use island. After that, only half trousers converted into full trouser, and eyeliners went. Now you are a big fellow. No eyeliners, no half trousers. So until then, half trouser and eyeliner was together, right? So these are broad spectrum. Broad spectrum does what? Whether necessary, unnecessary, all bacteria will be killed. So broad spectrum does what? It doesn't select. This has to be killed. Anything comes, it will be killed. Understood? That is what is broad spectrum. But if you select, okay, this is gram-negative bacteria which has created a problem. Okay, this is gram-positive bacteria which has created a problem. Then what happens? You select that gram-positive, then you use antibiotic for that particular purpose, or you use for a gram-negative purpose. Like gram-negative, very common, which I prefer one is gentamicin, right? So gentamicin is the gram-negative. If somebody is some kind of a cholera, something has hurted and I got infected, you use gentamicin on that, right? So somebody otherwise, I would say go for a Ciflox. The brand name is Ciflox. So somebody asked me, sir, Baba, right? So another color. Ciflox. It's a broad spectrum antibiotic, right? So finally, what happens? Broad spectrum by antibiotic, it will create, kill the necessary, unnecessary, all sort of a bacteria will be killed, right? So narrow spectrum, moderate spectrum, broad spectrum, and broad spectrum, and or you can divide into many parts, right? So basically, broad spectrum and narrow spectrum you can divide into what? Gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, right? So that you can go for, right? So that part remember, right? So mechanism action wise, as I told you, first thing is what happens? Cells wall will be damaged. Some of the antibiotics we use to damage the cell wall. Wall is damaged, then that bacteria will die, right? So other one is what happens? You damage the membrane, cell membrane, right? And other one is it does what happens? It, right? So it will inhibit the protein synthesis. So the antibiotic, and the bacteria will die. Or you change the DNA or RNA, and then what happens? That bugger will not understand its own cell, right? So what you do? You change the RNA, DNA, and finally that bacteria will not know what I came from, right? What is my action? What is my work? That fellow doesn't understand, and then so that will not work, right? So likewise, right? So your anti-metabolic means you are not, the metabolism will be disturbed. So especially endoplasmic reticulum and those sort of thing, will be disturbed, and then show you the cell will die. Same thing when you attack somebody or some country, what you do? Same thing you do. You just put, okay, right? Smash what? You control the border. Then after that, don't allow any food to come in. Right? Tomorrow, if Sri Lanka is captured by India, first they will put their army. That means your antibiotic. And that fellow will do what? First, seal the border. No food comes to Sri Lanka. Nothing goes out from Sri Lanka. Right? No paripu from India. No all from India. No all from India. Then people have nothing to eat. And that is that metabolic effect. Then they will create some organic against the government. Understood? And that is what DNA RNA changing. Understood? Right? Then after what happens? Enzyme production will be stopped. No agriculture, no milk, nothing, no fishery, nothing. Then there is nothing income. Right? And then what happens? There are a lot of leakages and those. So this is same, but you can control the country, and then you kill the or control the bacteria in the same circle. It's nothing different. Understood? Now recent Pakistan India war. Why did they stop? Why did they stop? No. Why did they stop? If that could have gone for 1-2 days more, there could have been nuclear attack. So today, Sri Lankans also could have died in millions, and people who has not died, that fellow will pray for her to die. I didn't die. That will be the question that person will ask. Where there is nothing to grow, all the water is, right? All these things are contaminated by radiation. So nothing will grow, nothing to eat. You can't breathe. You can't swallow anything, right? And all this will swell and all these parts will fall. And South Asia will be what? Half of radiation. This is what the situation that we are living. Just 2-3 days, no, further it could have been done. Situation could have come to that level also. Right? So in future also we have to understand, we can have all these things. So doesn't mean study karan. No. So because they are too far, not to think. What is present, think, right? So nothing. So then what happens? Those things can happen. So then what happens? According to mode of action, some of them they attack on the process synthesis, some of them they attack on the DNA, some of them they attack on the wall. So according to that, we can classify antibiotic in different antibiotic and the different purpose, right? So that is what is mode of action, right? Mode of action wise, right? And mode of action wise, inhibitor of cells, you can, so these are the antibiotic. Inhibitor of protein synthesis, these are the antibiotic. Inhibitor of nucleic acid, that is the antibiotic. Inhibitor of cytoplasmic radical, these are the antibiotics. So this presentation will be given to you today, and you guys can but read that which antibiotic falls into which group, right? Which group? Then after that, so this is, then what happens? There are two types of action wise. There are two types of antibiotic. One is bacteriostatics, one is bactericidals. Bacteriostatics means whatever, it doesn't kill, doesn't allow to grow. Right? Bacteriostatic antibiotic does what? Does not kill the bacteria, but does not allow to grow. So there was 200 and 200 bacteria that maybe remain for 100. So 100% it is not removed. Understood? Bactericidals are those which will kill, completely kill. Understood? Right? Killing. So the bactericidals are those groups. What happens? That will kill. Bacteriostatic groups, what they do? They won't kill. They will suppress. Suppression is better or the killing is better? Suppression is better, killing is better. It is better. From bacteria's point of view, if you are a bacteria, you like to be suppressed or the kill. Huh? So there, different people have this. Yeah, Pala, Bila, the one come out now, go on to the theater. Get Kuno by over. And so we are suppressed or we are killed. At the moment, we are suppressed. We cannot talk we cannot talk against the government, we cannot talk against some people, right? And we are what? Suppressed. We are not killed. We cannot eat what we want. We cannot build house the way we want. We cannot get married the way we want. We cannot do anything like that. You want to now say you want to have a super luxurious tea, you cannot have. All those are made for foreign country. But though you want to spend, you cannot have. So there is a certain kind of a suppression. You can have, you cannot have. That sort of situation. Yeah. No. Understood. So you are at the moment you are suppressed. That what heat is better than suppress. That is why people fight for the independence. Now Kashmir is fighting. Tonight, no time. There will be most probably this year. There will be at least five new country will form. In Pakistan, there will be 1-2 country will form, and Kashmir will be next country will form. And they are like different countries will form. There are approximately in South Asia, there will be 5 countries, new country will form before we reach to 2026. Already, India and Pakistan is pregnant. Understood? So they will deliver before 2026. A new baby, new countries. Understood? So what we have to expect? Right? Now, classification of antibiotic on the basis of effect of their activities. Bactericidals, as I told you, it kills, and then bacteriostatics means what? Inhibits the growth. So remember these things, right? Though they are what I'm stressing, just remember that. Other things, even you forget it, no problem. Right? Then this is your mode of action. And then what happens? Mode of action wise, bactericidals are bacteriostatics, and then broad spectrum or narrow spectrum, right? Broad spectrum, narrow spectrum again. And then what happens, right? So classification of drugs by route, whether you are giving capsule form, whether you are giving, injection form, IV form, whatever form that you are giving, right? Topical form, right? So there are different administration routes are there, right? And then what happens? You can immunoglucosides. This is again, statics and this, gram positive, gram negative. This, this thing, and contraindication and cautions wise. If there is some allergic to that antibiotic, like Siku he is allergic to, amoxicillin, right? He's allergic to amoxicillin. So somebody has forgotten given him when he was having a heart surgery, given an amoxicillin. He could have been died. Fortunately, he survived. Yeah, in optometry, there is some more work to do. That's why he is. Otherwise, so then, and if you are allergic to something, you should not. If there is renal or hepatic disease is not liver. No, like diseases are there. Pre-existing hearing loss, some of the like gentamicin and those things that cause hearing loss, right? And then what happens if there is infection, active infection with herpes or a microbial infections are there? Then myasthenia gravis and Parkinson disease. Myasthenia gravis is what? Neurotransmitter is not enough. Not that is not because the infection is not a thing, and those are the. So there you have to be careful with aminoglycoside giving. Aminoglycoside can cause this deafness, right? This especially I remember is gentamicin, which can cause death. So fluoroquinolone, which is ciprofloxacin, is ciprofloxacin. You are getting a 4th generation. Like generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, generation 4. You go through that, right? And then so generation 4 generations are there. Now we are in the 4th generation of drug that we are using, right? So this is again, a mode of action of this is protein synthesis, right? So which you are using for erythromycin, right? So for when you have flame and those things and then fever, right? So you are taking erythromycin, which is very common now. No, erythromycins are very highly taken. No, and then after that, what happens? Erythromycin. Then generally now tetracycline is not taken, right? Tetracycline causes certain kind of a sensitivity. And then now, right, so then those things are not taken much now, those generation. So this is what I told you, simplification, 1st generation, 2nd generation, 3rd generation, 4th generation. Now we are using 4th generation drugs, right? 4th generation drugs, and you have to understand what are these. Then after that, what happens? There are side effects. Tetracycline is now highly not used, and it's still like 1960s, 1950s pass out in BBS fellows. They still give tetracycline, and that discolor the teeth, right? And so because of that, what happens? Now tetracycline has other side effect, and that can cause myopia, right? In optometrist point of view, if you look at, and so that you have to, right, stop taking those things, right? So if you see this now, basically what you have to only remember is this. One is what? Anti-infective drugs. They are what? Antibiotic, right? Antiviral, antiviral, antifungal, and antiparasitic. Right? So antibiotic, there are different ways you can classify, right? One is according to their what happens? They are
right? So the spectrum, it is, right, broad spectrum, whether it is narrow spectrum. Narrow spectrum again, whether it's gram positive, gram negative, right? Then otherwise, you have to see the mode of action. Mode of action wise, whether it is suppressing the wall, whether it is changing the DNA, whether it is inhibiting the protein, right? And whether it is working against the metabolism, right? So then again, you can take, this classification wise, you can see this is broad spectrum, this thing. And then you can gram positive, gram negative, broad spectrum, narrow spectrum, mode of action. Then antibiotic you can take as a bacteriostatics and bactericidals. So bacteriostatics means you control, bactericidals means you kill, right? So if you know this much, and if you know about 10-15 ophthalmic drugs, this is bactericidal, what is bacteriostatics? You have to do homework is that. Take 10-15 drugs, antibiotic drugs, right? And you have to first see this is broad spectrum or narrow spectrum. If it is narrow spectrum, this is, right? This is what you call gram positive or gram negative. First classify that. Got it? Then after that, Mangana, classic in Mangana. Understood? Right? So basically what happens, first of all, you have to see is whether it is a broad spectrum or narrow spectrum. Narrow spectrum, whether it is gram positive or gram negative. So take one drug like chloramphenicol. Chloramphenicol is broad spectrum, narrow spectrum, broad spectrum. Right? So you take gentamicin, then that comes under the immunoglucoside group. That is what? Gram negative. Right? You take, then you can see what are the broad spectrum antibiotics, what is gram positive antibiotic, what is gram negative antibiotics. Used in what? Ocular drugs in eye. Okay. So once you finish that, then go to next step. Next step is what? Okay, this one is bacteriostatics group or STATIC static group, or this is cidal group. Right? Whether it is going to kill or whether it is going to inhibit the growth. Which then after that, further you go and see whether this bugger is going to damage the wall, whether this bugger is going to change the DNA, whether this bugger is going to, inhibit the metabolism, right? Whether this bugger is going to, metabolism, wall, and then what RNA, then after that, what it does, protein synthesis, inhibition of protein synthesis. So what that antibiotic is doing, so one chloramphenicol will fall into board, and one chloramphenicol also fall into what? Bacteriostatics, not cidal, right? One chloramphenicol will fall into one of these, right? And you will be clear about chloramphenicol. So take gentamicin, again classify same way. Take, right, ciprofloxacin, take in the same way. You take, right, the what you call, this what you call, Begamox, and then then after that you classify that way. Then you will understand these drugs used for what and why we cannot use on this, because this is working for this purpose. Clear? Right? So that over you have to plug it. The chart is not there in slide. We have to make chart. The chart side has what? We can divide, antibiotic in these 5 ways, not 5, 6 ways. And this 6 ways, when you classify, same drugs will fall into out of the 6, 2, 3, 4. Got it? But we are eating all also. Then there is again classification. No.
then Buddha other part also there. Then Buddha will come into one place. Hal will come into one place. Pahatrata will come one place like that. You can classify that. So are you clear up to now? Other things you have to just go through. Basically, what I'm trying to give you an idea is the antimicrobial agent. One is bacteria, antibacterial. Antibacterial agents, right? Basically, what happens? It is fighting against the bacteria, right? Whatever the bacterial infection that we have, right? So against that, we have to give antibiotic. So what are the antibiotics that we have? Please count about 10, 15. Then after that, what you will see, all antibiotics are not same. First of all, you have to have an idea. All antibiotics are not same. Some antibiotics are made synthetically, artificially. Some antibacterials are taken from bacteria, taken from fungus, taken from other plants, from animals, and those are the things, right? So if you understood this much, then after that, those antibiotics will fall into broad spectrum, narrow spectrum. Narrow spectrum will fall into gram positive, gram negative, right? If you are 100% sure this infection is because of gram negative, give gram negative. It will solve. So no point of giving broad spectrum, killing all the good bacteria also. We have good also, bad bacteria also. If bacteria is not there, you will get infected. Right? So good bacteria is also necessary. So but in broad spectrum, what happens? You kill everybody. Right? And then what happens? Good, bad, everybody will be killed. So rather than that, if you can make sure that this is gram positive, this is gram negative, can we separate that? Yeah, we're doing culture. The bacterial culture we do. You take small piece of this thing, or take some kandulu, take some cover, and put in culture and find, this is gram positive problem. This is gram negative problem. Then particularly to culture, it takes time. It doesn't happen in 1 hour time, right? So it takes. So then till then the infection will spread. So then you have to give some sort of treatment, right? And once you find this is the problem, then you can treat accordingly, right? So that we call as there is a culture part. Culture will tell this is gram positive or gram negative, right? Then after that, what happens? According to action, you have to find out what are the drugs, right? And what this is going to do. And according to the action wise, we know this for this purpose, this now especially coronavirus, we need to just break the wall, nothing else. Right? Some we cannot just break the wall, you cannot stop them. You have to change their RNA, DNA, like they use. Now, if you take the SLA fellows, you can break the wall, finished. But JV fellows, you have to change the RNA, then those JV fellows, they will convert themselves into UMP. Understood? Some of the fellows, you can stop the protein inhibition, build up. So then automatically that fellow will be controlled. Rather than cleaning. So then otherwise, if you're washing out, cleaning them, that is a different part, right? So when you have to kill some of the bacteria, some of the antimicrobial agent, what happens? You should make a drugs which will not damage the host. Understood? So you cannot make so strong also. You cannot make, you can kill all the congenital bacteria, but you will damage the cornea. That will be the problem. So you should make a drugs which will not damage the cornea, not damage the conjunctiva, not damage your other part also, your antibiotic. So that kind of a drugs, most of the time, you cannot kill everything. No? Understood? Right? And keeping it in mind, then we have to understand what kind of bacteria is big to control. Yeah, we have to prepare. Whether it is wall, whether it is process sensitive, whether it is a metabolism, whether it is a RNA to change. Accordingly, we have to give the drugs. Otherwise, it will not control. Right? It will not control. The infection will not be controlled. Understood? So if you understand this, then automatically what happens? Whatever the antibiotic comes, you can see the picture. Okay, this is broad spectrum, this is narrow spectrum, this is bactericidal, this is bacteriostatics, right? And this is going to work here, right? Understood? Then you will understand the antibiotic part. Clear? Clear? Unclear? Huh? So what we want from this learning will finish when you take what? 10, 15, what? Antibiotic on what? Ophthalmic drugs. Then you classify like the way I told you, right?
then you will understand, oh, this is the antibiotic that I have learned, right? And virus, actual antiviral drug, there is nothing much, very few, maybe three, right? Nothing. Antibiotic is the one which is big pains. Antifungal and antiviral drug is very, very less in number. Pindrapal, and then this particular this very common one is in the antiviral drug is what is that? But the antiviral drugs, most of the time, virus doesn't need any medicine. It just resolves. Virus are self-limiting diseases. But if it is not controlled, not like bacteria, it is very, 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 very difficult to control. Right? And those antiviral drugs are very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. Right? Very, very expensive. So if you take Harpies or Tomtag or Pharmacology and those kind of things, we use antiviral drugs, and those are very, very expensive. So antivirus, there is nothing much to talk, right? So it's antifungus, antiviral drug. Acyclovir, which is very commonly used, huh? Acyclovir. Acyclovir, those days also it was about 3,500, 4,000 rupees for all these things. So now it must be about 15, 20,000, right? And so somebody who gets antivirus, viral, infection, and that is not self-limiting, that fellow is finished. Right? That fellow's, if he is multi-millionaire, there no problem. Otherwise, that fellow is what? Because it's so expensive, right? The cyclovir itself is, very, very expensive drug. And viral actually the only this much drug. You don't need to learn much, and there's nothing classified application to do, right? So antiviral, antibacterial, and those two we'll discuss. For the moment, what you do, one homework you have to do is what? Find 10, 15 antibiotic drugs and classify and understand where these are used. To do that, then our pharmacologist, one of the hard topics. This is one of the hardest topics, man. But I personally feel difficult than glaucoma drugs. This is on the opening classification of understood. So this is one hard topics. Whereas glaucoma, this is classified into two part chemistry. No, there is no soft branches, nothing, and this one you have to do. Right? So because of that, you have good homework to do on this, part. Clear? So today, if you understand antibacteria, right, and that, if you can understand in this detail, that is, as an for an optometrist, this is, I suppose, good. Yeah. Right? But if you don't understand the mode of action wise, or the spectrum wise, right, the settings and serial wise, you don't understand what is the classification of, right, gram negative and gram positive wise. If you don't understand, there will be a problem. Anyway, exam will have a question on what? Antibiotic. Because antibiotic is very commonly used drugs. So whether it is a cataract surgery, whether it is any surgery, any sort of infection, antibiotic is used. So you may not be prescribing antibiotic for the moment, but if somebody comes with the antibiotic, you should know this is. You have to have a very clear idea, right? And further than if you want to be little more pandita, further you want to be what? Samasingata? Be a little more pandita. What you have to learn is what is the dose, how many times a day, how to give this thing. If you know, that is also more better, more but better, right? If not, also not a problem, right? If it is not also because we are not prescribing that, but when you see antibiotic, that is eventual, and that is no problem. Correct? So, then next session, we will do what? Virus, fungus, and what happened? Then after that, what? Parasitic drugs. Those are very small part. Then after that, what happens? Your
What happens? Pharmacology finish. Pharmacology finish. Now, by this time, you know anesthetic drug, you know. By this time, you know glaucoma drugs. By this time, you know mydriatic and myotic drugs. By this time, you know dry eye drugs. By this time, you know what else? Anti-inflammatory drugs. By this time, you know stents, diagnostic stents. Then contact lens drugs and supplementaries. Then the antibiotic. Okay. And so, have you seen tropicamide? Huh? Seen tropicamide or not? You have hold tropicamide on your hand or not? So have you seen atropine drop? Seen hold or not? Your hand, you have hold. Have you seen Salatin drop? You have seen Tramadol drops, lubricants, beta blockers like Malone. So if you want to know and see this drug, where you can see? Where can you see? If you want to see these drugs and you want to see these who are using this, what are the things that is happening on them? If you want to know where you can get this? At home? No? Where you have to go and see this? Those people will not come to you. Definitely you have to go there. No? There you have to go. You definitely have to work with some such people. Those are the people who are going to prescribe. Those are the people, you know, those patients only who carries that, and you have to listen to them, and then those things out, right? So those things you have to do. Now it's time for you guys to go do what? Eye surgeon's place. Assist them. Now you know how to do refraction. Do further in refraction and see what they are prescribing of your ocular. Ocular is what? What is ocular? Ocular is what kind of drugs? How is what kind of drug is ocular? What kind of drug is FML? What kind of drug is opioid? Oh, wow. This question will be asked in pharmacology, no? Pharmacology, next month we are having full exam. From June 1st, I suppose it's already declared, or I don't know. He decided this way. He, Tarumati and who? Someone decided next month from first. First will be what exam? Chemistry. No? Oh, June 1st will be what? Chemistry. So then after 8th, no? 8th will be what exam? Pharmacology exam. That's one time then we have to July we have to start and stop the next 2 sessions. Because after July month we have to start new session. Then next session again May semester anatomy right? So anatomy and microbiology. Then after that, pathology and visual optics and general medicine and optometry. I don't know, you can 6 syllabus we can do on optic, right? But we have to cover them. And then third semester, contact lens, low vision, optometry, pediatric optometry, pediatric optometry, community optometry, specialized. I will come in third semester. And fourth semester will be on a and business, marketing side, then after that research and anything, then occupation optometry, and all research point of view, those side will come. Then you are 2 years completed. Yeah. Right? This is what we have to see. Understand? So because next semester, if you cannot complete those 6 modules, will come. So this semester, this June, if you do not complete your this 5 semesters exam completed means successfully completed, not, if you do not pass, next module you have to study also, you have to do repeat also, and those things will be very complicated. Because the first semester is very easy semester. The general part, second semester will not be easy. That will be ophthalmology and optometry will be huge content that will move. Optometry procedure starts. Then general medicine will go and tough. And third semester will be very, very fun. Because contact lens, low vision, all the field. Understood? The first semester is really easy semester. In the meantime, you have to what? You have to start practical. Otherwise, later part like the article and the assignment not finished. Patient not seen, 35 patient, 30 patient. Then after that, second year we go to third year we go to so if you do not work now 4 days a week, at least 7 days a week is good. At least 4 days a week. You do not put therefore, you will be in problem. Yes, sir. Hello. Oh no. Understood. So very serious I'm telling you, right? With the speed that you have is not enough. The speed that you are carrying, this speed is overall maybe the best one speed now. You will not complete diploma that is. You have to work hard. Then I will go pharmacology के प्रश्न यहाँ होते हैं. अलग. Pharmacology. Ophthalmic pharmacology, general pharmacology बहुत ही. एक ophthalmic pharmacology. ये lesson दा है. And then the father has come down. You have done. Understood? Now what happens? 10 lessons. That also very soft. You could have remember those things while classes going. They are not very tough things. We didn't go any deep. So it's just name. So that's all. The name also you don't remember, the problem with that. Right? Because you are not used to that. You are not meeting those, no? So something we are not doing, it's difficult to remember. If you are doing, it's very easy to remember. Somebody who is always looking at many so many right? Or everything, or TTU, the Lumigan, Alpha Gun, Bromidine. If somebody is every day looking at those things, there's nothing wrong. Automatically that will come to the brain. Again. Understood? So when you are not used to that, and then the problem comes. I'm giving you time, early warning about, I'm telling you from the beginning, the way you are studying is not what? What? Samadhi Nona? Samadhi Nona goes at 6 o'clock from here. 6:10 sees at a boarding place, right? From 6:10 to 12:10, she studies. 6 hours. From 12:10 she sleeps until 6:10 she sleeps. 6 hours she sleeps. In this okay, she is one of the very lucky people who can sleep 6 hours, 7 hours. And she has to come here by 8 o'clock. So 6:10 if she wakes up. And 7:10, 1 hour she is in the bathroom also. And 1 hour she, wear her clothes also. She can come here and stop. Right? Now see the schedule, but I look at the schedule is that if you leave 6 o'clock, 6:10 if you can reach. And next you have to come at 8 o'clock now. You have 14 hours time. 14 hours out of what cannot be done. Someone is not, but how many days you go to your optical shop? How many days you go to your optical shop? Once a week. Once a week. And other days? Other days what you are doing? So now for diploma, I don't think it is enough. I don't know how many days you go to optical shop? Once a week. Other days? If I are doing any other courses, not doing that now. Don't do also. Cannot focus on two things. One time, one boyfriend, one post, one life, one family, one listening. Don't distract too many. That talent only Muslim boys has. We can manage both. So we cannot manage together. Our ancestors they are good. Don't get married more than one. Understood. So then what happens? So I suppose you guys have to now start working with this. Say if you work 2 days with the surgeon, 2 days in optical shop, 2 days on something, you study. Nice for you guys, no? Nice for you guys. If you don't do, understood. Now this time, Segi University has sent a exemption in a different way. Foundation you don't need to. And from first year to fourth year, they have given. Now, this time they get 30 credits. This time they have given 33 credits. So which is nearly about 1,200 hours class you don't need to do after doing our diploma. Right? They are it falls like optics, basic studies, foundation of ophthalmology, and all these things falls. So which is one of the topest subject that there is. Right? So meantime, if you don't study this and go there, and you don't study that also, and that resultantly that will harm other subjects. Now you are here. Understood? In case if you now these days we are communicating with MSU also. So we are now at the moment communicating with Bharati Vidya University also. People who cannot afford Malaysia, then they can go to India. Here, which is Bharati Vidya University is here. And now with everything, now they are asking for pass marks, in a sense, practical how you pass, theory how you pass, assignment how you pass, how you take the weightage. This morning I was preparing that, saying that this is how we do. The problem is in India, in Malaysia, you can go from O level, from other stream of A level also. On basis of our diploma, they give exemption. Up to now, in future, I don't know. The rule change, then it will be a problem. But in India, they are asking for A level science exam. So without A level science, they are not going to allow. Well, just because of our diploma, they are not going to allow. So they are asking your diploma, are you taking from A-level science? So then if somebody is going for India, they should have what? They can have our diploma, but they should also have what? What? A-level science and then diploma and then go India and do the degree. Otherwise, India is not going to. Malaysia allows up to now. And Pakistan finishes and this thing, then Malaysia will change what kind of rule. I also what? Don't. It's not our control. Maybe sometime it will be here also. So there are different avenues that we are going. Now we went through a legal issue, and when we went to Meda issue, had a little change, and Meda's to now it has again changed. Understood? But somehow, what happens this time? That good part is now the earlier legal time they didn't give the what we did for ophthalmology, what we did in optometry, what we did in optometry procedures. Those are not exempted. This time they have exempted that part, and so that has one advantage is. And if you say our semester, 6 subject is there. If you have to do only 4 subjects, then 2 subjects you don't have to do, and you have enough time to concentrate on those 4 subjects. Understood? So chances of high reasoning is there. Understood? That exam advantage. Now, linear ratio, whatever, second, third, fourth year, complete. And this one, whatever, second year, okay, 2 subjects is extended. From second year, actually, almost, the first year, almost reasoning. Second year, third year, they have extended something like that. Gives us some sort of reasoning first. Yes, some some subject you don't need to do the rest. You can concentrate on them. Oh, time, right? So that is one advantage. Have understood. So those lot of these things are going on. So let's see. So we are expecting from the industry for 1.5 years, and then so there are a lot of things going on, right? So for that, first of all, you have to finish what? Diploma. To finish diploma, first what you have to finish. Now, if you fail in first semester exam, that means disaster is coming. Now we are not going to stop. We are going to continue our subject, and then again then that 6 exam will be there. Again continue subject. Again 6 exam will. So you are in a packed schedule. Very packed. Very packed. And your schedule is very packed. Right. So remember this fact. It's very packed. Your schedule. Now once this is finished, you don't have time. All 1 month your 6 exam is done. Again you do 5 months of class, and 1 month you finish all the exam done. So if you have to repeat, or you have to, if you don't have 70% attendance, and you're run on, right? So what happens, Ragnar? Subject. Understood? So 70% attendance maintain. That exam, then finish. Don't fail on that exam. If you fail on that exam, you don't submit your assignment. You think of this will be very difficult for me to finish start. Because you have to continuously assignment will come, continuously exam will be coming, continuously class will be going, not like first year. Understood? Right? Because next 5 months of time, again we are going to finish 6 modules. And there will be other 6 exams. And that 6 modules have more, again, what happens? Any assignments. Understood? Got it? So, and same time, the practical part, definitely you have to think. And then, so then what happens? It is, I suppose, better 2 days a week work with surgeon, 2 days a week work with optical setup, right? And so then 2 days you are coming here, and 1 day left. That day, plan from now. Otherwise, now some of you guys have not submitted the chemistry assignment. Some of you guys have not submitted the physics assignment. The assignment will not submitted, that's will finish. That's objective. Therefore, no point of seeking for exam. Then that assignment is going for about 20 to 30 marks. That you are seeking for 70 marks and getting 60 marks is impossible. Unless you are Albert Einstein's own probability. Right. So submit your assignment time. If the assignment is not submitted, no point of talking about that one. This way is good or too tough? Or too loose? What do you think, Hari? This way is too tough, too loose. Oh, okay. The option no. What do you think? Tough, good, or loose? Or should more? Should have more? Huh? Good. This is okay. This base is okay. This base is okay. This base you cannot cover means high studies you cannot cover. Because I know now they and those people they have classes at 9, 10 o'clock also. Assignments and they have to now say see how much this time she didn't got because of your RGB contact lenses. So RGB contact lenses he couldn't find the patient. And RGB marks is not there. I told her I'll be saying why to go from here to Malaysia. He has a keratoconus, inflicted contact lenses. No point of losing. Now, the student has to find their own patients. They have to sell product. Then only they get the marks. Right? Press biopsy was missing, and finally we one Nepalese security guard. He helped and got press biopsy. Not sure. So they have press biopsy this month, high myopia this month, low myopia this month, and that criteria that you have to finish. You guys also say. You guys also have to same way you have to fulfill the criteria. This month you have to finish. So whatever you are guys are doing, what you have to do, write down and from seeing here, differentiate. Okay, this will has done this. Otherwise, what will happen? Not completed. The completion have to that run. Understood for that. So if there is anything, any suggestion for a diploma, now your 6 months went worth or it was waste or it could have been done something more better. Was there 6 months now going to finish? 5 months finished? Huh? February, January, we forget about February, March, April, May, June, exactly. Clearing, start new semester. And suggestion to improve next semester. I don't know. Any suggestion to improve next semester? Yeah, I have 1 month more to think. Now, because she complained, we sent Mohammed to Morocco. No, not today. From today onward, he's in Morocco. Now, we can't get ready. If Mohammed come to know this will has complained, Mohammed will kill this one. So Mohammed now in Morocco. So basically, remove from that management. Any suggestion to improve next semester? Anything you want to improve in next semester? Anything to improve in next semester? I want to increase Thursday and Sunday, not enough, we'll do Tuesday also. We'll put some lectures on Tuesday also. Thursday, 3 lecture Karanako, Abhikaram, Thursday, they got lecture, Sunday, they got lecture, Tuesday, they got lecture. Now, as far as what happens, productive it should be, and it should be more, can I name it? The study can enjoy it, okay. So I enjoy my study. Even though I don't have now. I was yesterday also, I was thinking you will have exams and everything. I don't have exam. I don't have exam, but I love the study. Today morning also, I did 26 MCQ questions on dispensing part. I thought something not interesting. Then after that, I did this thing. Then after that, even what is right. Then after that, what happened? I went. There were 2 mistakes. Who was mistake? 2 mistake was what? The addition correction, but addition one I forgot to add. I just leave that. Then other mistake was what? 2 mistake was that. Right? And but from there, what I learned was, oh, same question I can ask like this also. From 18th, I'm going to do Padinamas exam. They have something of 20 odd students are there. So 8 people were going to do on 18th, then subsequently we have to do. And for that, I got new questions by doing this. So same question, I know this is what we have asked, translation, we have asked everything. But the question was asked. It was beautiful. Also, so we are still learning after, this thing also, all those, but again, we are learning, this is beautiful way of asking. So that we have to work out. Then after that, what happens? So when you are learning, now if you enjoy pharmacology, if you enjoy optics, if you enjoy chemistry, if you enjoy anatomy, if you enjoy this thing, it will be nice. You take तो मतलब क्या cycle कराना नहीं understood the problem. This time you have to enjoy. I'm Diploma in Optometry, so I'm learning Pharmacology. I'm learning optics. I'm learning chemistry. Understood? If that comes, that will be one hardening. Nice. If you take that, then there will be problem. So you should know how to make. Now say at a stretch, if you learn optics, after maybe 1 hour time, optics becomes boring. No? For me, it happens. If I go on doing after 1 hour, then I'm not productive. It doesn't. I can't remember also. The new thing doesn't come. Now optics is enough. That's why same day there are many classes are there because of that. Then no, next okay. Then while you are doing optics, during the chemistry comes. While doing chemistry, then after that now chemistry comes. That happens. So because of that you have to schedule. Say 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. Now if she scheduled 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock go now, okay, 8 o'clock I will start my study. 8 to 9 I will study optics. 9 to 10 I will study chemistry. 10 to 11 I will study. What is something you have? Outlook. Then 10 to 11. 11 to 12 I will study. What is the subject you have? Other IT. Then after that what happens? 12 o'clock I will sleep. 6 o'clock I sleep. 6 hours, Okay. Then 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock I will do Bajao. 7 o'clock I will go to the washroom. 7:40, 12:40 I will finish my washroom thing. And after that 7:45 I will get from 7:45, 10:50 I will wear my dress. And I will do like this. You know, you don't need to work also very fast. That's going to be clear. In a speed of 1.5 kilometer per hour speed. You know, normal human work is about 6 kilometer per hour speed. Right? You work 1.5 kilometer per hour speed also. It won't take 10 minutes to complete. I don't think in future you should have that time. So in future, if you can, now I have asked Kushan to come here because of one reason. I want him to go to Lanka and now and those places. So after finishing 5 o'clock, he will reach to now Lanka hospital. By 5:30, he is there. 5:30, 7:30, he will work with, with his and those. That is why I get to bring him here. Right? So I told him after 7:30, in London, you go to Navalur. The Lahir was there till 11 o'clock. So you be there till 10:30. Then after that, take by 11:30, you will be home. First, the morning 6 o'clock, get up. 6 hours sleep. And again, not get ready 7 o'clock. And 8 o'clock to reach here. Enough time is there. Right? So no point of reaching at home at 8 o'clock. No, he's not going to cook. He doesn't have wife. He doesn't have kids. Right? So he can be there at 10:30, 11 o'clock also. Somebody will also sleep. Boarding house. Boarding uncle, auntie. Rather than that, now the location is patient management is long time now I will take it from 9th floor and you can reach it. Pain or symptoms, pain or patient got the luminal pain or patient got the understood. Like currently like can say all around constantly. Tane country than all house. Believe in all of them dealer. Asani Patika, Asani, how you need to get from optometry. वहां तक पता बेसिक ऑप्टोलॉजी पता कुछ से तो उतना मना थी तो मैं गिव मी मना तो बोर्डिंग अंकल भी आती तो व्हाट वी डिड आई मंचन नहीं आपण को देवाला मग सार को देवा क्या मामा दहायला एक राहतो मग मागे बोर्डिंग गेली है ना मोस्ट ऑफ गिवन पावर मेरा डर्ट ज्यादा करना नॉर्मल ज्यादा करना सेंट्रल ज्यादा आता मिशन क्या है कि पहले इधर उन्होंने से दर्शन से लाइक और पता कराने को फाइबर बनाने का अच्छे दिन का आगे उन्होंने प्लान कर वहाँ पे दिया नहीं सप्लायर्स लाइक लोग वहाँ दिया नहीं वो वाले इलाके को प्लान को बनाने का हार नहीं बट अन्य ट्रेनिंग जो है ये ट्रेनिंग मार भी दिला इफेक्टिव तो या समारा मिनिस्ट्री क्या दर्शन से क्या हुआ डाउट नहीं जागा रैंकिंग में फाइनेंस डाउट नहीं Teman-teman sudah sehingga kita optimis ini paham ini ya dua hal ini kan kita berkata lama yang sudah ini apa ini kita tahu sekarang baru jadi ini overall kan ini anda paham berada kan dua hal gitu kan itu yang adalah dahan ini kan dahan ini masih kita ini malah ekor hal apa ini kita kerana खूप बिगड़ इलेक्ट्रिकल गाड़ी तो प्लम्बिंग इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी तो बातें गाड़ी कराना तो नहीं कराना स्कूल में गाड़ी की बता अरे तो ये को पर्सनल लाइफ में भी गाड़ी को तो है ना तो है मेरा वन ओ क्लॉक में वो पावर तो बड़ा वाला तो पावर में आती है 1 o'clock इंदला 10 o'clock में पेशेंट पर ये ऑप्टिकल ट्रैफिक गाड़ी इसे भी कोई प्रॉब्लम अब मैंने सजेस्ट कर दिया कि इंश्योरेंस में सर इंश्योरेंस दान हो गया कैश में नहीं जाना वो नहीं होते दाने तो या एवरी डे certain amount of company can have this deposit put in account again one of the Any I can against GS, I can against make a can I am. And then Java tool I can 2012 karana gaya. Mono to any kind of program to me. Actually, the tune house, how young Sudan like you. The Gila na Sudan can. Yana they have the Mascaratina, Yapet, they are optical shop. And then you will have pages of Palaka and right level, how you is Villa, Patrolgata. They can't just incline I use. It's not a qualification wise, not one school. Knowledge very good at certain technical knowledge, how they are thicker than benchmark around one. Technical side, well, assist around fixed around you know, but the water knowledge. You are giving either cannot say what in the company I know them talk Kala. You know, contact lens knowledge. They have a design color in contacts. But not gone to the school. School is there. Google login, college, you get a continent. Experience in the hub. You know, a guy with absolute signing. And then you have to associate with them and you will understand about some bachelor's, master's, only party. No, really. Talks with those, you know. And that we have to vary. Okay, na tayo lang 2012 already. Isa na rin naman, hindi ang kikilasin. Hindi have a car like. Parang wila, but hindi ka pula karla. You know, but hindi have a car. Right? Still lane street karla. हमारा पार्ट ऑफ इसके लिंक्स मैं ये करते आगे हम फेसबुक की एचबी के लेवल ऑप्शन करने लिया बट अपने वो पूरी दिक्कत है again से कहते हैं those people that are hurting their qualification में अभी qualification में हमें करा दिया उनका वर्क करो natural है ना and always एक साइट के माइंड में दिया गया इन्होंने rather than नहीं इंडस्ट्री की हम काटी थी ना एक लोग qualification में उनका knowledge स्किल लेकर करा they should be respected. Right? So, Eva associate knowledge got you, who done has Eva given this no. So, this private take a bottle again, audio will sunglass other. A classic people, you know, it will give us a minus less costless. A class neither plays all. This private take a bottle like audio lens has a minus 15-20 lenses. Actually, tell you, what a gun bag. You know, good them, but they have super knowledge. So, it's a industry at a mix up. Industry at a mix up, no lead back. Other than, so you can say, 2 days, another. 2 days, one of the optical again, background setup. Again, sir, then another. Now the way, Samadino. Yano. How the house? Uncle Balani and that one, Auntie Balani and that one, mother. Hospital, fixing the one, Sergeant Balani. Name. Are you? Neither. Other than that. So these factors are now already little late. Already 4 months, 5 months finished. 2 years running, 5 months finished. Can I go look who call it? No, I got 2026 karana, international seminar karana. 8 months in club, prepare. Speakers, Amakanatama, symposium, high Kaudakaran. The symposium topics, how they can group again. Workshop, hack another can, how the can. You can call them, make a you can divide the deal. DNA generally massive. Hello, Munda massive deal. Right? The Google, Governor. Yoda Karani. What planning of theory? A plan cannot be available because what happens? All the month, me, assignment, me, study, and one of those body will cool down. Thank you from a plan. Monday, Mang Manada Karani. Tuesday මම මොනවද කරන්නේ? හරිද? වයික ඇවිල්ලා ලංකන් ලැබුදේලා වැඩක් නැහැ. එහෙම. මෙයා දෙක පළයවර කරලා වැඩකුත් නැහැ. ඒ ටයිම් එක අපෝ ඉන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද මන්ඩේ මම මේක කරනවා කියන එක සමුන්ට ප්ලෑන් එකක් තියෙනවා. Tuesday මේක කරනවා කියන ප්ලෑන් එක. Wednesday මේක කරනවා, Thursday මේක කරනවා, Friday මේක කරනවා, Saturday මේක කරනවා, Sunday මේක කරනවා කියන ප්ලෑන් එක තියෙනවා. ඔය හැම මේ ඡන්දේට වෙසක් එකට හරි අලුත් ඕවා කරන්නේ දවස් 350කින් 360කින් 200ක්ම යනවා ලංකාවේ ඕවටම තමයි. ඕක ගෙදර කියලා ගහනවා කියලා මොකද වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙනම් මරණ ගෙදර මගුල් ගෙදර මේකට ඔක්කොම ගෙදර යන කිව්වොත් තේරුණා? 365 days වලින් ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සු වැඩ කරන්නේ hardly 200 days. එහෙනම් බලන්න වෙසක් 13ක් නිවාඩු. මොකද ඔය 13ක් නිවාඩු. හරිද? මුස්ලිම් කාර්යක නිවාඩු. හින්දු කාර්යක නිවාඩු. ඔය කරාම 20ක් වගේ නිවාඩු අතරින් යනවා. හරිද? එහෙනම් ඊට පස්සේ අනිත් තේරෙනවද? ඒක 20ක් තමයි අතරින් නිවාඩු. හරිද? තේරුණා? සන්ඩේ 54ක් තියෙනවා. ඒ 100 ගානක් නිවාඩු වුණා අපිට. එහෙනම් ඒ අතරදී උඹලා කවුරුන් මරුණා? කාගේද මකුල් ගෙදර තියෙනවා. මොගල ගෙදර තියෙනවා. එහෙම කරන්නේ යනවා. ඔටෝමැටිකලි ඉන්දියා 120ක් අවසන් එක. මට ඒක එකක් උනේ ඒ ලංකින් පරින්න. එහෙනම් මට බෑන්ඩයි නෑ මුකුත් නෑ. දැන් අද මම මොනවද කරන්නේ? මම පොයේ දවස් දෙකක් මම මේ දවස් දෙක වැඩ. එයාද 22 23 නිවාඩු ගන්න නිසා. හරිද? මම වැඩ. අපි ටයිම් නෑ. දැන් මට දෙකෙන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඒ තමයිසලෝ ගෙදරින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඌලුවෙන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. දැන් දැන් ළඟදී කවුද අපි ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක් නැරි කරා. එයාගේ මේක දුන්නා. මම යාට කිව්වා දන්නවනේ මම. ඒක අපි කවුද? ස්පීකර් ඕපන් කරා. සර් දන්නවද? සර් ඉන්වයිට් කරලා ඒක ඉන්වයිට් කරනවා. ඒවට ඉන්වෝල් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒවට ඉන්වෝල් වෙන ගියොත් හැම කෙනාගේම මව් ගෙදරේ මම මෙතන මල් ගෙදර ගියොත් මට දවසක් නිවාඩු දෙනවා. ඊට මගේ වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? පුළුවන්. දැන් අඩුම ගන්න මාසෙකට එකක් හරි කොහෙද වෙඩින් එකක් මල් ගෙදර කොහෙද දෙකක් තුනක්. ඔකට යන්න ගියොත්. තමයි මනස වෙලා තියෙන දැන් මිනායි ගෙදර වුණත් ගන්නවා. ඒක අපර මුදින්. දැන් අවසායන නම් ආන්දරයන් අයියා අපගේ අලුත් ගෙදර හදන්න යනවා කොහෙද? පරිදරන රාමුලිකෙන් රාමුලිකනම් මේක චාමන් ගාව අයියන් චාමන් ගාව සර් නෑ yes මේක කොහොම මම කියන්නේ just working director විතරයි. I don't have even 0.1% shares. එහෙනම් දැන් අයියා ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් චෙක් එක හැර අනිත් ඔප්ටිකා එකේ කම්පියුටර් එකේ මේකේ චෙක් එකේ සයින් කරන්නේ නැහැ. Hey, I'm next 1.5 years වලින් මම රිටයර් වෙන බලන්න ඉන්නේ. ඕනනම් අපි බැච්. කරකරු. එහෙනම් so all this plan තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඔයගොල්ලෝ plan කරගන්න. plan කරලා මේ කරනවා so unproductive දේවල් වලට මේ 2 years මේ 1.5 years දෙන්න එපා. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ මම ස්ටඩි කරනවා දෙන්න මේ කරනවා හේතුව මොනවද? ඕකට ටයිම් යන්නේ කිව්වොත් දවස් 100ක් එනවා. will be problem. එනවා. ඒක ටයිම් මදිනේ. දවස් 3 ට්‍රිප් එක ගියොත් ඒක will be problem. දැන් අපි දාන කරන දවස් 3 ට්‍රිප් දැන් යනවාද? හරි යනවාද? නෑ එනවා මං කියන්නේ බාරතුල යනවා නැද්ද කියලා කිව්වේ. So these things remember and among ඔයගොල්ලන්ට just warning දෙන්නේ if you have not understood දැන් මාස 5ක් ඉවරයි මාස 5කින් මේ subject theoretical ඔයගොල්ලෝ improve වෙලා ඇති. මේ subjects වලින්. හරිද අපට? තවත් මාස 6ක ඉස්සලා කොහෙන්ද හිටියේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ practically ඔතන තමයි. එතනින් උඩට ආවේ නැහැ. මම දන්නේ විදිහට. හරිද? first එක practical තමයි තාම දන්නේ. එතනින් add move කරා. එතනින් මොනවාරි add කරාද? last 5 months. අර add කරාද මොනවාරි? Remember that factor. And then after that, the exam, exam තිබුණාම කොහොමද මේ මාසය මොනවද දෙන්නේ? exam එකම දෙන්න මේ මාසෙ සහ ඊළඟ මාසෙ exam එකම දෙන්න. ඒක මුකුත් කරන්න බෑ. දැන් practical කරන්න දුවන්නේ මේව කරන්න time නැහැ. මේ module පහක් ඔයගොල්ලෝ පාස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකටම දෙන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා මතක තියාගන්න අවුරුද්දකට මාස 4ක් study course එකම PCM practical ඔක්කොම නතර study කරනවා. මාස 8ක් තමයි study කරනවා practical මේවා කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් right ඒ හැම වෙන කරගෙන ගියාම ගොඩාක් අඩුයි ඕවර් ටයිම් එක. ගොඩාක් මඩ. එහෙනම් දැන් මේ first semester second semester මොනවද කරන්නේ? අනේ මේක වඩා හරිද? ආවෙන. third semester ඊට වඩා අමාරු. ඒ specialized subject එක. In the next 1 year ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මේක වඩා very tough time එකේ ගත කරන්න. හරිද? ඒක නිසා මේ next 1.5 years මොනවද? සමාධි මොනවද? social life පැත්තකට තියන තමන්ගේ professional life එක හිතන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ඕන තරම් time තියෙනවා social life වලට. the moment 1.5 years පස්සේ retire වුණාට මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මොනවද? house එකේ ලස්සනට කාම කරද මොනවාද window ළඟ ඉඳලා චූනේ earbud එක දාලා සින්දු අහලා හරිද පුතු කාලා ඔතන තමයි තියෙනවා මේ 1.5 years තමයි මට මහන්සි වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ මම මේක දැන් මේ වෙලාවට 18 hours 19 hours 20 hours වල වැඩ කරනවා එහෙනම් දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ 1.5 years ඔයගොල්ලෝ commitment කරොත් හරිද මේ 1.5 years commitment කරොත් අතර who වෙනසක් මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ life එක this 1.5 years is going to decide who you will be කෙනෙක් නේ නේද එහෙනම් ඒ නිසා මේ 1.5 years optometrist කෙනෙක් වෙන්න බලන්න අනිත් හොඳ දුව වෙන්න ඕනේ හොඳ පුතා වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ හොඳ අම්මා වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ හොඳ නාන්දි වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ හොඳ මේක වෙන්න ඕනේ ඕවා නරකුණොත් කමන්නේ හොඳ optometrist ඊට පස්සේ 1.5 years පස්සේ ඔය දිස්ත්‍රික්ක ඔය කරන් ප්ලෑන් කරනවා. මේ 1.5 years නම් චලන් කරොත්. හරිද? සම කරන්නේ. ආව දෙන්න. right මේක තමයි 1.5 years මේකටම 100% go කරන්න බලන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ plan කරන්න Monday ඉඳලා Sunday වෙනකන් මේ දවස් ටික කොහොමද ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගත වෙන්නේ කියන්නේ. හරිද? ඒ ගත වෙන්නේ විදිය plan කරාට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලෝට ඊට වඩා සායන ක්ලියර් වෙනවා. දැන් plan නතර දෙන්න ක්ලියර් නැද්ද? plan කරලා කොහොමද? ඒක ක්ලියර් වෙනවා. ක්ලියර් වුණාට පස්සේ අපිට ගැණේ ගමන ලේසි වෙනවා. අර මම Monday පිටලා ඉඳලා මෙතන මෙහෙම කරන්න. මම Tuesday වෙලා ඉඳලා මෙතන ඉන්න ඕනේ. මම මෙතන මෙහෙම කරන්න. life become very busy. එහෙනම් දැන් ඒක මට දැන් ගම්පා යන්න තියෙනවා. අනිත් මගේ ඉන්න කරනවා MVP assessment කරන්න තියෙනවා. හරිද? EC වෙනදා මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? මේ මොනවද? PHI ලා training කරන්න තියෙනවා. EC pass වෙනදා මොනවද තියෙනවා? discussion තියෙනවා. හරිද? අපෝ ඉසෙක් 30 මොනවද තියෙනවා? MVP level 6 එක final investment කරන්න. මොකද I can completely plan. මගේ account එක calendar is full. හරිද? එහෙනම් ඒ calendar මේක තියෙනවා. so සමහර දේවල් කරන්න දැන් අද මම දැන් මෙතන ඉන්නේ. දාසිකල් නෑ. තම යනවනේ TV එකේ login. අද මේ message දැම්මා. අද එන්නේ විදියක් නැහැ. එතන මම මේ වෙලාවට ඉන්නවා කොහෙද? කොහෙද ඉන්නවනේ? TV එකේ. එහෙනම් so likewise අපිට ඔයගොල්ලෝ හරිද plan කරගන්න right මොනවද ඒ week plan කරන්න and then year එක plan කරන්න 1.5 years දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කවදද hospital වල ඉන්නේ කවදද surgeons ලාත් එක්ක ඉන්නේ කවදද optical එකේ ඉන්නේ කවදද පාඩම් කරන්නේ කවදද assignment කරන්නේ කවදද exam මේ විදිහ ඔක්කොම හදාගන්න එහෙනම් then after that some of the then ඔයගොල්ලෝට surgeons ලා මේක තියෙනවා I can talk like Nalin is a good person. Learn karan dana hoga. Second person Dr. Achal is a good person. Learn karan hoga. Ninja. In passe patra ani katte te karan ek kena ilano ek kena ilano. Tamahar kami ek kena ilano. Kaya se me kena ice kapili angale kena hospital ke high hospital kena आगे me kata gila ilano. Ilan kan dia. Tango dan overload berkutut. I don't suggest, but still, you can work on optical shops and those sort of thing are possible. Not, I don't think it is a good idea. Also, can I come on right? So think and plan and tamang the time get in a theater. Whether Karagana, and after that, Jay, other second, thanks.
It's we have a plan and then you can say as English